macrame wall hangings are complicated, this step-by-step video makes it easy even for beginners. Here and welcome to BOCHIKNOT macrame. In this video, I will be going over a beginner macrame wall hanging with beads using only 2 basic knots of macrame. If you're a beginner in macrame, this video is for you. Not only will we be going over this step-by-step guide on making this wall hanging, I'll also provide you with some helpful tips so that your wall hanging looks professional and you'll also have fun while making it as well. And with that said, let's jump right in. For this pattern, you will need the following supplies. I'm using a 4mm 3-ply cord. 3-ply braided or a very sturdy single strand is generally better to start off with as a beginner just because they don't unravel as easily and they're nice and sturdy. It's harder to know which single strand cord is a sturdy cord. So if you're not sure, I would go with a 3-ply or braided because you know those are always sturdy. This is our 4mm 3-ply cord in natural color. It's a recycled cotton cord. What I would like about this cord is that even though it is sturdy, it's still really soft on the hands. A lot of 3-ply cords you may see are rougher on the hands because they are super sturdy, almost too sturdy, and while that may be a good thing for some of you, I prefer to have it nice and soft on my hands so that it's comfortable to work with. So I'll be using this cord. And then you'll also need a 12-inch dowel. This is 12 inches in length, and then the diameter on the sides is around, let me measure it, 9 millimeters, sorry. So almost a centimeter. And then you will also need some Lark beads. So you'll need a hole for your beads that can weave through 2 strands of 4mm cords. So the hole here is around 9mm, so almost a centimeter as well. So that's more than enough to fit through 2 4mm strands. And the total size of this bead, if you look at it, the length, it is about 16 millimeters, so 1.6 centimeters, and the width is approximately 2 centimeters, so 20 millimeters. So what we're going to do is take the dowel and we're going to attach 18 strands of 180 centimeter long cords, each folded in half and attached onto the dowel with Lark's head knots. So place the loop in top through the back side and then pull the cord ends through. And then pull on the ends to tighten, and that's 1 Lark's head knot. So I've showed you it once and I'm going to show you how to do it once more, and then you can attach the remaining 16 strands of 180 centimeter long cords with reverse Lark's head knots. Okay, so once 18 strands are attached, what we're going to do is we're going to tape down the dowel on both sides. Okay, so we're going to keep the cords as evenly spaced as possible right next to each other in the center. What we're going to do is make 3 separate columns of these square knots. We're going to start with the left section first. So split into 12 cords here, so 6 knots. So if you want, you can separate out the rest of the cords because we're going to go back to those later, but working with the left section first. With the middle 4 cords, we're going to start off with a square knot. So bring the left cord over, right cord over that cord, bring it through to the back and through the left loop, and then tighten. And then now we're going to do this in the opposite direction. So take the right cord over, left cord over and under and through the right, and then tighten again. And that's one square knot. I like to pull on the inner cords every time I finish a square knot so that there's no scrunched up cords, and then the square knot looks nice and neat. So we finished our first square knot. We're going to repeat with 2 more diagonal alternating square knots to the left and right for the top part of the diamond. So next up would be the left 2 cords of the square knot we just made, and then the 2 cords next to it to the left, and then we're going to make another square knot. So same thing as before. But this time we're going diagonally. So we've made our second one, and then we're going to add 1 more. So then the left 2 and then the 2 right beside it. We're stopping at the height of which it's right under the square knot we had just made. And then again, tighten the inner cords. And now we've made a diagonal row to the left. So we're going to do the same thing. Diagonal row to the right. So to do that, the right 2 cords of the middle square knot, and then the right 2 cords after that. Same knot in the same direction. Then again, once done, pull on the anchor cords, which are the filler cords inside, and then 1 more square knot to the right. Okay. So once done, this is the top half of the first diamond on the left side. So to finish off this diamond, what we're going to do is go in the opposite direction. So now we're making diagonal rows of square knots towards the center. So starting on the left side, take the right 2 cords and then the 2 cords next to it. Again, another square knot. Try to keep your working cords nice and straight too. So nice and tight after the first half knot. So the square knot is made up of 2 opposite half knots. So I'd like to tighten it, the first one first, and then the second half. Pull on the anchor cords. Then you have a nice, neat knot. It does take some practice if you don't get it nice and neat the first time. And then now we're going to do the same thing on the right side. So left 2 cords, 2 cords right beside it. Okay, our diamond is almost complete. Now all that's left to do is the middle 4 cords to close off this diamond. So 1 more square knot in the middle. Now you see here that there's a little bit of cord sticking right above, but after every square knot, pull on them so that it straightens everything out, no scrunched up cords on top, and then it looks nice and neat. So we are now complete with our first square knot diamond. We have 2 more sections to go to the right, so we're going to repeat the same thing in the middle section. So starting with the middle 4 cords, make a nice square knot. And then make 2 more diagonally to the left, 2 more diagonally to the right, and then close it off just like we did this one. Okay, so here's the second diamond complete. Now, sometimes if you need to adjust to make sure everything is nice and symmetrical, you can pull and shift the knots, loosen them up, retighten them so that it looks good. Once done, we're going to repeat the same thing on the right 12 cords. And now our first row of diamonds are complete. Before we move on to the second row, we do want to add our beads first. So we're going to add them in between the diamonds. So taking 1 large hole bead, and then the 2 cords in between 2 diamonds, we're just going to thread the bead through those 2 cords. Now if you're using the same size cords and beads like I am, then you should be able to thread the bead through no problem. Let it sit in the middle. We can always adjust it after. And then same thing with the 2 cords in between. Now if it does so happen you're using a bead with a smaller hole than what I'm using, and it's hard to just thread it through, you can use some tape at the ends of the cord to help you thread it through easily. Okay, so we've threaded our beads through, and now we're going to start our next set of diamonds right underneath. So starting on the left side again, we don't need to make the middle. So we start with the diagonal ones to the left and right. And then again. Like so. And 1 more to the right. Now if you find it's a bit loose, we can always tighten it, retighten it, and there you go. Finish off the rest of this diamond. So once this diamond's complete, repeat the same thing on the remaining 2 sections. So once we're complete with our second row of square knot diamonds, this is what the pattern should look like. We've completed half of the project now. We're going to make 2 more rows underneath. So before you begin the third row, thread 2 more beads through, and then continue repeating for 2 more rows underneath. So once we're done all 4 rows, this is what the pattern should look like. And we do have enough room for 1 more row, but I'm going to change it up slightly. At the bottom, I'm just going to quickly shift up the wall hanging first. So instead of adding just another straight row of square knots here, what we're going to do is again thread through 2 more beads in the middle. So I've threaded them through. So all we're going to change for this part of the pattern is we're going to make somewhat of a V-shaped pattern. So we're going to ignore the far left and far right chords, far right group of chords, and work with just the middle section. So right now, what we're going to do is make a full diamond right underneath in the middle with the middle 12 chords like we usually would. So once the middle square knot diamond is complete, what we're going to do is on the left side here, we're going to just make that right row of square knots, and then on the right side here, the left diagonal row of square knots. Okay. Once done, this is what the pattern should look like. And now all that's left to do is to trim the fringe, and I'm just going to trim it into a V-shaped pattern at the bottom. So shifting the chords, I'm going to start trimming from the shortest chord in the middle and then just work my way diagonally upwards on both sides. So I'm just going to cut the middle right chord so that's the same length too. And then the same thing on the right side. It's best to make sure that the chords are not overlapped and they're nice and straight. Now, to make sure that the V is even, you can see that the right side's a little shorter. That's okay, we can fix it. What we can do is match the ends in the middle, and then we can just cut off right side so that it's even. I think it's pretty even now. Go back to the sides, and then you can retrim the left side so that it matches the right up to this point. Okay, so once it's done, this is what the bottom should look like. You can shape it however you want and to your desired length, but I'm following how we ended off the pattern with a slight V, so I'm doing a slight V at the bottom with the fringe as well. Now with one of the longer scrap cords that you have cut, you can use this as a handle for the wall hanging. So it's up to you if you want to add the handle in the center here or tie it at the ends. The length of this scrap cord is around 50 centimeters. We can tie it at the ends. So what we're going to do is bring it around for an overhand knot, and then another overhand knot on top. And then do the same thing on this side. It's done. That's what it should look like at the back. And then you have a nice little handle for the wall hang up at the top. And that concludes our step-by-step beginner wall hanging pattern What did you guys think of this pattern? Let me know in the comment section below. Hopefully the tips I provided with the square knot diamond design, with the beads, helped you along the way in making this wall hanging. If you're trying to create your own macrame designs, practice is key. We have several other beginner macrame projects on our channel, and we also have more intermediate and advanced projects over on our YouTube membership community and also over on patreon.com/BOCHIKNOT. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.